Attention, Commanders! Adam Peters is playing with dynamite and the NFC East is shaking. Ready for the triple bombshell that will revolutionize Washington? First act, betrayal in the trenches. Osa Odigizwa, the Cowboys tank, circles Washington with a $21 million contract. Is he worth more than Jonathan Allen? Stay cool, Commanders. If Peters signs him, he might cut the icon to save $16 million. Would you rather have Quinn's 26-year-old monster or the soul of this defense? The line between loyalty and survival breaks today. Second act, the colossus that will shake the league. Imagine Myles Garrett, the Cleveland Kraken, in burgundy and gold. ESPN has him on Washington's radar. 2 first-round picks and $40 million per year. Do we risk the future for a Titan who turns this defense into pure terror? But watch out, if Garrett doesn't sign an extension, this move could be the biggest heist since Snyder. Build patiently or set the league on fire in 2025? Third act, the million-dollar dilemma. Everyone is talking about Darren Payne, Pro Bowler in 2022 or a ghost in 2024? Gerald McCoy defends him. He's a silent wolf. But the numbers scream 49.3 IN run defense, ranked 129th. If he doesn't explode in 2025, Peters will cut him in 2026. Do you trust in his redemption, or are we paying for a name? Breaking news in Washington. Is Osa Odigizwa worth more than Jonathan Allen? Here's what I think. What's going on here, Washington Commanders? I'm bringing you news that could shake up the defensive trenches. Ready for the fire? Because this is big. Osa Odigizwa, the Cowboys tank, linked to Washington. But watch out! His price is around $21 million per year. $21 million? I ask you, is Adam Peters really ready to drop that fortune? Because we're talking about a guy who isn't a free agent yet, but Dallas might let him go. And here comes the dilemma. What about Jonathan Allen? The franchise icon, the leader, the warrior, but with a contract without guarantees after 2025. If Washington cuts Allen, they save $16.47 million. Do you get it? We're talking about choosing between a legend or new talent. Now, let me tell you this, Odigizwa is a monster in the pass rush. Durable, young, 26 years old, and knows Dan Quinn's system. But does he justify getting paid almost the same as Christian Wilkins in Miami? Wilkins has more sacks, more impact against the run. Is OSA on that level? I don't think so. And don't forget, the defensive line already has Darren Payne on a massive contract. Are they really going to invest another fortune in a defensive tackle? Or should they instead reinforce the offensive lines, which crushed us in the NFC Championship against the Eagles? But wait! Allen isn't the same as before. His stats have declined. Is Peters betting on a declining veteran or on an expensive upgrade? Now I ask you, would you pay $21 million for Odigizwa if that means cutting an icon like Allen? Here's the problem, without improvement in the trenches, the Eagles keep humiliating us. But is Odigizwa really the solution? Marcus Mosher says yes, that his durability and youth are worth the risk. But I remind you, in the playoffs, the greats make their presence felt. Allen has that experience. Does OSA? And pay attention, Adam Peters isn't afraid to make cold-blooded moves. He cut Logan Thomas, Charles Leno. Would they hesitate to let Allen go if that means upgrading? My final verdict, if Peters believes Odigizwa is a true upgrade, go for it. But $21 million is too high for a player who hasn't dominated the league. Better use that money on an elite edge rusher or an offensive tackle to protect Jaden Daniels. Don't focus on names, focus on needs. And now the big question for you, Commanders. Would you cut Jonathan Allen to save $16 million and invest in Odigizwa, or would you renegotiate with Allen and look for cheaper reinforcements? Comment below, keep Allen or bring OSA. Can you imagine Myles Garrett, the Myles Garrett, rocking the burgundy and gold? The entire league would tremble. But wait! This isn't just a dream, it's a real possibility. Listen to me, the Commanders are on the radar. They're the top destination according to ESPN, and Bill Barnwell isn't messing around. Now I ask you, is it time for Adam Peters to open the checkbook and risk the future for a super gamble in 2025? Because this isn't child's play. Garrett isn't just any player. He's a monster, a game wrecker, the kind of defensive force that turns a good team into a Super Bowl contender immediately. The question is it worth paying 2 first-round picks and a mountain of millions to get him? Listen up, the Browns say they aren't trading him, but nobody believes that. If Garrett keeps pushing to leave and Washington has the cap space, the pressure builds up. I'm telling you this, Dan Quinn needs a defensive star to replicate what he did in Dallas with Micah Parsons. Garrett is that and more. A chaos generator who would make Darren Payne, Johnny Newton, and Frankie Louisville look like all PROS just by being on the field. But wait, not everything is perfect. What happens if we give up those first-round picks and Garrett doesn't sign an extension? What if it turns into another case of overpaying for a big name? Right now, the fan base is split. Let me ask you, do you prefer to build through youth in the draft, or go all in to win now while Jaden Daniels is still on his rookie contract? Here's my take. If Adam Peters doesn't at least call Cleveland to ask, he's failing. Garrett is the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Sure, losing picks hurts, but what's the point of having capital if you don't use it to hunt sharks? Imagine Daniels with a top-5 defense led by Garrett. That's pure vengeance, folks. Now, the crucial question for you. Would you trade 2 first-round picks and pay $40 million a year for Myles Garrett, or stay patient and develop young talent? Drop your arguments in the comments because this debate is worth more than a conference championship. And remember, if this happens, the Commanders won't just be a team. They'll be a nightmare for Mahomes, Purdy, and anyone who dares to step into the end zone. Is Darren Payne up to the task, or is it time to say goodbye? The controversy is here. And I'm telling you this, Commanders, the bombshell is set in the Capitol, and the name on everyone's lips is Darren Payne. The man who signed a mega contract after his Pro Bowl in 2022? The very same. But here's the problem. Where did that monster who tore through offensive lines go? Because in 2024, Payne wasn't even a shadow of what we expected. Look, I'm not one to sugarcoat things. 49.3 rating in run defense, ranked 129th out of 219. Did you hear that? Among the worst in the league. And this, folks, is unacceptable for someone making $90 million. What happened? Did he rest on his laurels after signing? Because in 2022, Payne played like every snap was a contract, and now it seems he forgot how to even shed a block. But wait, an unexpected ally arrives. None other than Gerald McCoy, former Pro Bowler, defending Payne on the radio. And what does he say? Don't criticize him. Look at the disruptions, how he affects the game even without stats. Oh, really? Is McCoy seeing something we aren't? Because against Philadelphia, in the NFC Championship, Payne was injured, and the team collapsed on the line. Coincidence? I don't think so. Without Payne, the Eagles crushed Washington like they were rookies. But here's my tough question. How long do we pay for potential? Adam Peters has no patience for projects. If Payne doesn't explode in 2025, his contract in 2026 will be a burden. And guess what? Jonathan Allen could be cut to save $16 million in 2026. So, if Payne doesn't wake up, Washington will show him the door. That's the harsh truth. Now, I ask you, do you trust in a Payne resurgence? Because Gerald McCoy believes in him, but do you? Do you see this guy as a key piece, or would you rather invest in the next draft pick? Comment right away. And pay attention to this. If Washington keeps losing in the trenches, nothing will matter. Without a defensive line, not even a Patrick Mahomes can save your team. Payne has to be that wall, or 2025 will be another year of regrets. My final verdict, Darren Payne has everything to be a legend, but today he's on thin ice. 2025 is his last chance. If he doesn't dominate, Peters will send him packing. What would you do? Bet on him or trade him now? Commanders, it's time to define the team's direction. Would you prefer to cut Jonathan Allen to save $16 million and invest in a future with Odigizua? Or would you renegotiate the veteran's contract and seek strategic reinforcements with a limited budget? Would you risk 2 first-round picks and $40 million annually for Myles Garrett? Or do you believe the real key is to patiently develop young draft prospects? And the final question, Gerald McCoy trusts Darren Payne, but do you believe he can bounce back as a key defensive piece in 2025? Or should the Commanders look for a replacement in the draft to renew the line? Comment your answers and debate. Every opinion counts. Subscribe to the channel to join this Commanders family where we build the team's future together. Turn on notifications and don't miss this week's exclusive debate. Subscribe now, share this video, and show why Commanders have the most passionate community. And remember, hail to the Redskins!